This is Dr. Vaishali and I'm reading from the book Substance of Homeopathy, book written by Dr. Rajan Sankaran. Chapter number 36, the salt. Today's salt is magnesium carbonicum. First, the main feeling of, in stage 1, the main feeling of magnesium carb is the tremendous vital anxiety. Example, basic anxiety of all living creature for their survival. This anxiety arises from feeling of not having the care, protection and nourishment that he needs. It is just like the feeling of an infant abandoned by his parents. Thus, the main rubric of magnesium carbonicum is forsaken feeling. Forsaken, beloved by his parents, wife, friends, feels of not being. In the second stage of magnesium carbonicum, people are very independent. They seem not to need any care from others and in fact can be quite caring. I have observed that these people deny any anxiety about anything and seem quite content and completely self-sufficient. They speak in a plain, impersonal manner, sometimes almost like a newsreader. They can be superficially friendly, but generally do not make deep emotional contact with anybody. And that contentment makes them somewhat unambitious, and along with their low emotional expression, make them appear placid. In the third stage, the fear of magnesium carbonicum are represented by the rubric fear of accident, death, misfortune, that something will happen, anxiety before going to the dentist and physician, beside oneself with anxiety, starting from the noise and when touch. The anxiety of magnesium carb can be very acute and can resemble the anxiety of remedy like stramonium, rustrox, argentum nitricum, etc. It is, however, differentiated from these by two features. 1. Magnesium carbonicum has the symptoms replace causeless. I take this to mean that they themselves do not know the cause of the anxiety. The real feeling of being forsaken or being isolated is very much and depressed. And in second way, you can say magnesium carbonicum have several symbolic dreams, usually of a danger in some form, or separation or the death of the relative, of a dead relative, weddings, fruits, etc. These dreams express the hidden repressed emotion. On the other hand, magnesium carbonicum patients often have a very characteristic features like the total absence of dreams. They often say, I don't know even how the dream comes, have never had one. There is an interesting difference between magnesium carbonicum and magnesium muriaticum, whereas magnesium muriaticum has a dream that he is lost in the forest, like outside the house. The magnesium carbonicum patient's dreams that he is lost in his own house. The meaning is that whereas the magnesium muriaticum people can find a home if they make an effort, the magnesium carbonicum situation is such that despite being in his own house, he is a homeless and no effort is going to help. And so the contributions to the placid feeling one get with the magnesium carbonicum patient, and one symptom of magnesium carbonicum is that in this stage is fear whole day as if some accident would happen. I have found that this usually involves a nourishing one. When the parents or husband goes out, the patients fear that they might have some accident. While in causticum, person too might express a similar fear, but here it is anxiety for the ones he nourished. The magnesium carbonicum person often have great anxiety about his health, which is expressed again as a fear that something will happen. Another aspect of magnesium carbonicum patient is that they can become very reserved, indisposed to talk, and develop a very repulsive mood when they avoid the people. And fourth stage, patients become dull and despairing, sense dullness of, sulky, in sadness, indisposed to talk, despair of recovery. And the physical symptoms are chilly patient, though their feet may get warm and have to be uncovered. Desire fruits, meats and vegetables, also aversion to vegetables. Perspiration, sour smelling, leaving indelible yellow stain on the clothes, very unrefreshing sleep, more tired on waking than on going to sleep. Menses black as a pitch, indelible stain, Children have tendency to develop boil recurrently and rapid succession, which is mentioned in the Patak repertory. Now, case 1 of magnesium carbonicum. This case was referred to me by my colleague. The child was suffering from the typhoid fever, 12 to 13 days long standing, and was in a very bad shape, and he had been given a bryonia and phosphorus without effect. This being prescribed on current symptom. When I showed the child, he was slipped, and over his bed was hanging a painting of a child looking quite abandoned and lost. I was informed his father that the parents of the child had separated several years ago, and just before this the mother had painted this portrait. I heard that the child was very independent. He could cook, stay alone for long period of time himself, etc. Even during the fever, the child seems quite okay by himself and did not want anybody near him. The only things he wanted during the fever was fruits. In this case, I found that even during the acute process of typhoid, the characteristic symptom of the child, the not needing care and desire for the fruit, were in keeping with his state before the typhoid. I felt, therefore, that the child did not need any medicine other than the suited to his state, except the magnesium carbonicum. The picture drawn by the mother strongly influenced the prescriptions in this case. It was as though the mother anticipated the state of the child following the divorce. So that was their expression. Case 2. I saw a case of Dr. Fatak of a 12-year-old child with a complaint of very obstinate constipation, not yielding to enemata, means not responded by enema. The boy also had some psychiatric problem. He was very taciturn, would not play or mix with others, would not go to school, etc. He had become completely shut off. He had been taken to many psychiatrists, and we were told that the father of this child had cancer and was very sick for 6 months, during which time the boy had looked after and taken care of him. All the complaints began after his father's death. The rubric chosen in this case was constipation from mental shock, nervous strain. The child improved very well on magnesium carbonicum. In this case, the death of the father excited a state in which the child behaved as if he has lost everything and that there was nobody for him anymore. Case number 3. Master N of 6 months old was brought by his parent with a complaint of rash on the face and body with a severe itching. He was scratching. The child had an abscess of the right lung, for which he was hospitalized for incision and drainage. Subsequently to this, he had severe diarrhea, which also required hospitalization. On inquiry, I found that the mother had a difficult pregnancy. She was diagnosed to have a placenta previa and was advised completely bed rest. She also had a severe migraine headache during this period. When she was hospitalized for the delivery, her mother was very ill and was comatose in the same hospital. She always feared that something bad would happen and would anxiously inquire about her mother's health. In the meanwhile, her mother expired, but she was not told about it, and she says, I suspected that something was wrong and that my mother was very ill and dying, but no one told me the truth. Those last weeks of the pregnancy were like a cat and mouse game for me. Once she delivered the child, she was told about the mother's death and was so shocked that she could not breastfeed her child. She described the child to be playful, crying only when hungry, does not like to be carried, and he is restless and active. The child perspires profusely on the head and has constipation. He wakes up with starts if he sleeps on his back. I was struck by the lack of emotion in the child's mother while she narrated her history. She had a placid feeling about her. I gave the child magnesium carbonica 1 ml based mainly on the mother's history during the pregnancy. There were corroborating features in the child too, such as the profuse perspiration on the head and starting lying on the back, while the child did exceedingly well on this remedy.